How y'all doing? Good.
To the point where it's second nature with the offense, or how are you just kind of adapting?
Really just trying to take the coaching and apply it to the field, and everything's going to be a work in progress, whether you've been in a system for 5 years or for 1 year or a couple months, it doesn't matter. So just trying to take it day by day and do what they're asking me to do, and there's going to be ups and downs, but yeah, we found some consistency here, and I just need to keep stacking good days.
What's kind of your process for your time away, staying in the playbook and things like that? How do you kind of stay in it?
Yeah, I did like 10 practices on my own in full pads, so that was kind of my plan leading up to this, and I feel like that really helped to go through each install. And obviously OTAs is great when you kind of get introduced to it and learn and hear things for the first time, and then obviously these training camp practices are very important, and then you get a chance to apply it into the games during the preseason. But like I said, I'm just trying to focus on each attempt and taking it one play at a time and really listen to the coaches. Obviously, we got some good coaches, and they've seen these plays against a lot of different looks. So I'm just listening to them and following them.
You did 10 practices. You take like scripts from
Yeah.
here, and how do you kind of, where do you do it, and how do you go about it?
Yeah, we have obviously installs like every team does, and you go through and just hit each play and call the play and run the plays. And I was fortunate to have people help me do that, and I've always done that really, but I really kind of built a plan this offseason because it is new and it is a lot of like hard play calls and stuff. So obviously just trying to apply that to these practices here.
Where did you do that back?
In Florida.
Did you bring your uniform to Florida?
Yeah, I mean a lot of guys practice, in the off season in pads and stuff, and I like to throw in pads because that's the most realistic. But everybody has their systems that they use, and at the end of the day, you got to play in pads. So I like to throw in pads.
It's the biggest adjustment you've had to make since coming here as a Niner.
What'd you say?
It's the biggest adjustment you've had to make yourself.
Yeah, really just getting back to like focusing on the process and my daily schedule and daily routine, and they do a great job here giving you resources, and I guess as a player you have to organize your thoughts for each day and attack each day, whether that's doing the cold plunge or your weightlifting, all that stuff. So I feel like I've kind of gotten into a rhythm, and I just need to be consistent and really just learn from the older guys on the team. Got some really good vets, and ask questions and pick their brains about what they do each day, really just to stack up good days.
Seen a few instances where you've been more than willing to take off in a run if it presents itself. I mean, it's not exactly your game, but
Yeah.
Is it something you've gotten better at over the years, deciding when to go and when not to go?
Yeah, I guess everyone thinks I'm really slow, so I look like Forrest Gump out there sometimes, but I've been working on my quickness, and I think that's one part of my game I improved last year on tape, if you watch the tape and stuff, and really throughout my career I've had some good scrambles, but here it's really about playing on time and then also being able to scramble. I think Brock does such a good job of that, watching the tape. He goes through his reads and then he goes and makes plays. So there's a fine balance, and Mick's talked about it, of just playing with your rhythm and timing, but also just playing the game of football and taking those 5 yards. If you can scramble and get 5, it makes it a lot easier on Kyle to call the game from like 1st and 10 to 2nd and 5 versus 2nd and 10. So definitely just getting those cheap yards has been good.
We had Ricky Pearsall was in here yesterday,
Yeah.
and he described you as hilarious.
Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as hilarious?
Oh, that's a nice compliment, I guess. But yeah, I like to crack jokes and stuff. And but when I'm on the field, I'm pretty serious and locked in. But I feel like football, the reason we play is to have fun and try and win and work together. So I'm always going to just show my personality in that way and try and keep it loose in the huddle and just have a good time. So yeah, that's part of football. So I appreciate that, I guess.
With Kyle Shanahan, how's he different from other offensive coaches you've had in your career?
Yeah, Kyle's awesome. Really just been good to get back in the meetings with him, and when he watches the tape, he just sees the game so quickly and so fast and really correct. And it's good to learn from him from each rep, whether I'm in or Brock's in or somebody else is in. And the way he thinks about plays and how he calls them is really cool, and just learning that process and just getting used to his flow and those call-up periods and how he wants to call plays. So it's been really cool. Obviously, he does a great job designing. And then as quarterbacks, like I said, we're just trying to do what we're being coached to do. I think that's important in the system, and taking it one play at a time.
When you watch Brock and George Kittle at practice,
Yeah.
is it readily apparent to you that they're really on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Connected.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on like Madden or something watching those guys because they're on sync every time, and they do a great job.
Would you say Kyle Shanahan's playbook is like the most sophisticated out of the coaches you've had?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think each system that I've been in has pushed me in different ways and put more on my plate in certain things. So as a young player, it was a lot of like mic identification and me picking out the mic and stuff. So that was a lot on your plate as a young player because you have to tell everybody where to go. And then, in Jacksonville, a little bit of both. And then I kind of transitioned into this one where it's all about rhythm and timing and motions and all that stuff. So it's been good. I did some of that in college, which was awesome for me. And really just applying those things that I learned, then and now, and kind of just mixing everything together and playing fast and also not overthinking things and just playing on time.
Not to be a bummer, but would you say there was a point where you kind of lost your confidence? And if so, like, how do you build it back?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and every athlete goes through that in points in their career. I think most importantly, I think the biggest thing for me is believing in myself and not having somebody tell you that you're good or bad or whatever. It all comes from what you believe and what you worked for. So yeah, I've struggled with that, but I also feel very confident, especially going to a new spot, having a fresh start, and trying to earn it every day. I think that's important, and learning from some of these players on this team. They've just done it for so long consistently, and just watching everybody's every move and watching Brock and taking the coaching. So I'm a very confident person overall, and obviously it's tough when you've had some up and down years, but I know I'm going to get it back on track.
You mentioned in the spring that you want to get back to the point where you feel like you could just rip it. You don't have to think
Yeah.
as much anymore. Do you feel like, or is it close? Are you there? Like, how do you kind of get back to that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a mentality, and you got to wake up feeling that way and not be reckless, but commit to each throw. Like Mick's talked a lot about that, and I feel like I've done that. Whether it's a good throw or a bad throw, at least I'm sending it and committing to it. And I think that's what you have to do. You can't be in between on decisions and living with your decisions, especially in a new system. I feel like at practice sometimes, maybe I ripped one I shouldn't have or whatever. Maybe I ripped one that I should, and it works out great. So it's all learning and committing to the throw.
How much did you look at maybe Sam Darnold's trajectory coming here and having a rough start to his career and then looking what he's done now as sort of maybe an example? Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of guys that have bounced around or whatever, and honestly it just takes finding the right fit, and I'm fortunate to be here, and everyone's career is different, but I feel like there's a system in place, and if I can get back to following my rules like I did in the past and played some really good football in this league, not consistently enough, but I feel like when you have a system, you can rely on that and stack good days and really just good plays back to back to back. So I'm looking forward to doing that and get a chance to do that in the preseason here.
Where in the process of camp do you get to kind of build that rapport or talk to your receivers about where they like a ball on a certain route?
Yeah.
How does that all come together?
Yeah, that's a daily thing. I mean, obviously there's a lot of guys rotating in different groups, and you're not with the same guys every day at practice. So really their job is to line up and run their routes and their steps, and our job is to try and get it to them. And then if it's not a connection, then what happened? Kind of what you're asking, like, did I throw it too soon, or did he want it more on pace or whatever? So I always ask questions really to get the answers, and because like the quarterback can tell somebody what to do, but if you can't see it from their point of view, then it doesn't matter. So I'm always asking questions to see how they want certain routes thrown, and then for me, if it's not timed up right, I'm like, hey, you got to get out of your break, or I was late on that one. So every play is different, but it's all about communication, and that happens not only in the film, but on the walkthroughs and in the cafeteria. Like, it doesn't matter where you are. If you see a guy and you want to talk about a route, and that's when you got to do it.
How's the give and take dynamic been between you and Brock? Like, what are some things that he's taught you and maybe some things that you've taught him?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Brock's done a great job in the system, so he's very consistent every day, comes to work every day, and I really just watch what he does, his footwork, his timing, ask him a question about a motion or a play that he's run in the past, and he's just been great on telling me, how to do it the right way, and vice versa. I mean, anything that I can help him with, I will, and I mean, obviously he's a pretty independent guy, so I'm looking forward to just being with him and watching his tape, and obviously he'll watch mine, and we'll just bounce ideas off each other, and that's how you get better.
last Friday, so you have experience with the ones. I'm more curious about what you see on the 49er defense. Some guys that may have surprised you, whether they're incumbent guys, like Trent, or excuse me, like Bosa or Fred, but there's some new guys that jump out at you going, oh, okay, this is something to pay attention to.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is scheme too. I think Coach Sala's done a good job. I played against him in the past a few times, and he's doing a good job mixing it up. And they're very, the front is the front. They're always going to go forward and be fast, and you can see that with Bosa and even some of the young guys there. And a lot of it is just, for me, I'm going against, I got the chance to go against the one defense. It is faster out there, and you got to be ready to play. You got Fred flying around, and D's out there. I like D's play. He's running around making plays. So they've done a good job, and I'm excited to see how they gel throughout the year and throughout the preseason, because they're doing some different stuff, and he looks like Coach Sala's done a good job adjusting and things too.
Seeing Jenna and how she's been awesome as a mom, just all of it all together, man, it's so good. So, yep. Thank you.
How cool is it? You're awfully young to have such an epic off-season, Brock. How are you ever going to top this one?
Yeah, I don't know. It's we're extremely thankful, man. Just having a baby, our family growing, to be able to knock out the contract and everything. So, man, it's been just a huge blessing all around. But I mean, nothing compares to having a baby and being married. That's first and foremost. So we're just extremely excited, and our hearts are so big right now.
How cool is it for you to? So many of you and your teammates are having kids at the same time, and that those kids are going to get to grow up with one another. How cool is that for you?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think to be able to, hopefully we'll be together for a while and have the kids be out on the field pregame and stuff. Like, we always talk about it and joke around, but I think it could be something that could be really cool. And Christian and I have talked about it in the past, like a couple years ago even. Like, it'd be sweet to have kids remember us playing in the NFL and go to work with Dad, and this is our work. So it's pretty cool. So hopefully we can all have our kids grow up together.
Who gave you the best advice about being a dad?
Oh, man. There's been so many guys in the locker room. I think Thomas Morstead's been pretty cool to ask questions with. I think he's got like 5 kids, and just his experience with playing in the NFL, but also making his family a priority, and how he's raised his kids and stuff has been pretty cool to hear about. A bunch of other guys have had kids recently in the past couple years. Fred, Jake Brendel. So it's been cool to just sort of pick everybody's brain. It's been awesome.
Are you emotionally wiped out with everything that's been going on this last couple of months, or is it good to be out in the field again?
No, it feels good. I get to – obviously there's so much stuff that has happened in my life off the field for sure, but to come in the building and keep it simple and play football, for me, I feel like it's really good for me. I come here and I get my mind back on what matters, and stepping out in the field and competing and playing the game that I love. And obviously there's a new goal with a new team and everything this year, and so, there's a chip on all of our shoulders right now. And so when I come here to work, man, I hone in on what my job is, and it feels good. But obviously when I go home and stuff too, it's great seeing my family. But
Through last Friday, did you know that was going to be the due date, and how the day unfolded for you personally?
Yeah, that was her due date, which is crazy. But I had no idea. Every single morning I'd wake up, and as if I was going about my day in football, and I was just waiting for Jenna to shoot a text over to our PR people, and they would come and grab me, and then but I woke up that morning, and my wife had her doula over at the house, and they're like, no, this baby's coming today. And I was like, all right. So I called Shanahan and Lombardi, and I was like, guys, I won't be able to make it. I think it's getting real. And so they were like, yeah, no, enjoy it and be there for her. So and then sure enough, our baby came that day. So that's how it went down.
Without getting too personal, was it a long labor? Was it?
It was, I'm trying to think, early in the morning till and then we had the baby at 3 or 2:58 p.m. so 3. So that whole day.
Millie?
Yeah.
Is there a story behind how you named Millie?
Her grandma's name is Ludmilla, but we didn't want to name her that, so we sort of gave her a little nod, so we went with Millie. So yeah.
Brock, it's a joke that receivers always say they're open, and so Ricky Pearsall was talking yesterday, and it was a slow start for him to the season. He said, I just wasn't really getting targeted. Of course, implication is he's probably open. But, I mean, is there something to that? I mean, that you had to work and develop chemistry and trust with him? I'm not saying he was always open, but until, you know, it started to click a little, at least in the Lions game.
Yeah. I mean, there's in our offense and stuff, man, it's usually steps, timing, you're breaking at a certain angle. And Ricky was last year, I feel like he was raw with his talent. Like he had it. And, but he also had to learn like our system, our timing, where I'm throwing the ball. And he's got a lot of shimmy and stuff, which is great. And we need that, you know, specifically against like man coverage and stuff to create separation. And we love that. But I think that there was some times where we had to like learn, like, hey, dude, you can't take a couple more steps and then break out. Like, I need you there now. I need to get this ball out now. And we had a couple of those moments and stuff. And there was times where he took it a little deeper and then broke open. He's like, dude, I was open. I'm like, well, in the timing of the play, like, I need it quicker or whatever. So we had moments like that. And that's part of, you know, getting to the NFL and learning the system and a quarterback and a receiver talking and getting to know each other. And I feel like it has gotten better for sure. Over the last year or so. And I think towards the end of the last season, you saw Ricky come out of his shell. He was playing within our system and timing, and so he's going to continue to learn, you know, who he is as a receiver and what his strengths are and stuff. And I'm going to continue to learn with him, and that excites me. So I think we've gotten some pretty good work so far, and you know, we're just going to continue to chip away at it.
Your first year in the system, you've seen other quarterbacks in their first year in the system. Mac doesn't, at least to us, look like he's in his first year in the system. How do you feel he's doing picking up the offense?
Dude, he's doing great. Obviously, like, you could just tell, like, the experience that he has playing in the NFL and understanding football in general. You know, he studies really hard. He goes out there, and I think his footwork, his eyes, everything is very detailed, and just like how Shanahan and Lombardi and Kubiak coach it. And so he's going out there, he's executing consistently, and he's doing a great job, man. So really excited for him.
There was a sequence in practice today. I think both said tagged off like 3 out of 4 snaps on you, had to run stuff. Which does it help you in terms of, because you don't face those guys during the regular season in practice, how does it help you right now in terms of making sure you're up to speed and all those types of things to have a guy like that on the other side? Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, like, he'll just tap me on the shoulder or whatever, just know, like, to, you know, tell me that he was there. But it's good. Getting that kind of pass rush, it's real. You know, if you're at practice dropping back and you're not getting touched or anything and you're going through progressions all perfectly, like, to me, it can be scary, because once you get into the game, man, it's 11 on 11. It's going fast. You got blitzes. You got different stunts by the D-line, and they're up in your face. So to have him every single rep and feeling his presence 24/7, honestly, it's great work for all of us, myself included. Like, you know, throwing with a push in the pocket and having to have different arm angles around him, like, it's all real. So for him to give us a look like that, realistically, like, every single play that he's in, it's really good. So I appreciate him for that. But obviously, he's getting really good work, and I want him to be a monster come season for our team. So he's doing just that. Chill out at all?
Heck no. I don't tell him anything. I tell him, I'm like, I appreciate you working and pushing us, so we need it.
Hurt his hamstring like right at the beginning of his rookie year, and missed a lot of camp. Made his presence felt by the end of the year on the field, but he was always a little behind. What are you seeing from him now as he's stacking practices and what he knows in the passing game and all that kind of thing? Yeah,
I think he's doing a great job, man. Running really hard, hitting the gaps hard. Like, I feel like he understands how we coach, you know, reading the run game and stuff, and how Coach Bobby Turner's how he coaches and what he expects, and learning from Christian. Like, he's definitely taken another step. And it's evident to all of us if you watch the film, so that's really good. And then in the pass game, obviously, he's got good hands, man. He can get out of the field, he can go up the field and make some big plays over linebackers and safeties, and so all of that put together, he's definitely growing, and you know, he's going to continue to get better. So for all of us to have him, Christian, a good running back room, it's really important.
Robinson and the Gage are making plays for you, it looks like. How nice is it to have a couple veteran receivers that you just know are going to go get it for you?
It's huge. Obviously, with like Jawan, BA out for now, like, it's to have guys that can go in and still show the young guys, like, hey, like, you know, this is how it's done. They're detailed in what they do. They know their assignment, but you throw it out there, man coverage, zone, or whatever, like, they're going to go get it. And tight windows, even if it's like a bang-bang kind of play, having strong hands and tucking the ball, like, right after, like, those are all real things, man. And they show that every single practice. So I'm excited to have them and for them to be an example for the rest of the guys.
That's one very
Barrows. One on Jordan, what you were describing with Pearsall, just the precision needed that you're looking for that the offense requires. Where is he, Jordan Watkins, in that sort of process?
Yeah, I think he's got, really good football IQ. He understands the game. You could tell he's played a lot of football in his career with college and everything, and he's smart with that. I think obviously coming into our system, you got to learn, same thing like Ricky last year. As a rookie, it's what's the timing? How is Kyle calling this? Where do I have to be within the play? What is my split when I'm run blocking, and who am I blocking? Like, there's all these little details that are so important. You watch Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, like our receivers block really well in our run game, and that's a huge part of it. And so I think for him, it's like learning all these things, not just the pass game, but our offense, running the ball, blocking, who am I blocking, getting there fast. Those are all things, that's what it takes to play receiver for the 49ers. And so he's learning all of those things. He's shown, obviously, glimpses and flashes of he can be that kind of guy, which is really exciting. So it's about putting that all together consistently every single day at camp. So,
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.